Dramatic video from North Carolina's Outer Banks shows a startling scene. Large, multi-story houses, beaten by relentless waves, suddenly splintering and collapsing into the churning Atlantic Ocean. This segment explores what happened, why it keeps happening, and the difficult questions it raises for coastal communities across the country. On the afternoon of Tuesday, September 30th, 2025, 5 homes in the town of Buxton on Hatteras Island fell into the sea. The collapses happened in a short window between 2:00 and 2:45 p.m., right around high tide. Thankfully, all of the houses were unoccupied and no injuries were reported. The immediate cause was a series of powerful ocean swells generated by 2 hurricanes, Umberto and Dememba, spinning far offshore. While the storms posed no direct threat of landfall, they sent waves of over 15 feet crashing into the coastline. Eyewitnesses described the sound of the homes giving way as being like bombs going off, as the wooden pilings snapped and the structures crashed into the surf. The videos are alarming, showing the houses teetering in the waves before their final plunge. In the aftermath, the shoreline was transformed into a hazardous debris field. Splintered wood, insulation, furniture, and other household items were scattered for miles along the beach and in the water, creating a danger for both people and marine life. The National Park Service quickly closed the affected beachfront and warned that more homes in the area remain at risk. This event, while shocking, is not a surprise to locals or officials. It's part of a troubling pattern. Since 2020, a total of 17 privately owned homes have been claimed by the ocean along this stretch of the Cape Hatteras National Seashore. For years, the nearby village of Rodanti was the center of concern. Now, the focus has shifted to Buxton. In fact, another house in Buxton had collapsed just 2 weeks before this latest incident. To understand why this is happening, we need to look at the bigger picture. The Outer Banks are what's known as barrier islands. These are naturally thin, low-lying strips of sand that are constantly changing and moving. The very nature of these islands makes them vulnerable to erosion. Many of the homes now falling into the ocean were built decades ago. At the time, they were likely built according to safety regulations, situated hundreds of feet behind the protective sand dunes. But over the years, relentless erosion has washed that buffer away, leaving these homes exposed on the beachfront. 2 key factors are making this long-term erosion problem much worse: sea level rise and more powerful storms. A 2022 NASA report warned that sea levels along the U.S. coast could rise by as much as a foot by the year 2050. Which will only intensify the erosion that puts these homes at risk. And as we've seen, even distant hurricanes can have a major impact, sending powerful waves that eat away at the coast. This combination of factors has created what some are calling a slow-motion catastrophe. The immediate aftermath requires a difficult cleanup, which is coordinated with the homeowners. But the larger question is what to do about the dozens of other homes that are also in danger. The National Park Service has been communicating with the owners of more than 30 threatened houses, urging them to take action before their properties also end up in the ocean. Unfortunately, there are no easy or cheap solutions. One option is called beach nourishment, which involves pumping massive amounts of sand onto the eroding beaches to build them back up. But this is a temporary fix and is incredibly expensive, potentially costing $40 million or more for a single community. Another option is to physically move the houses back from the shore. This can also be effective, but the cost, which can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, typically falls on the homeowner.
In some cases, the Park Service has been able to purchase and demolish at-risk homes to ensure public safety, but funding for such buyouts is very limited. What is happening in the Outer Banks is a stark illustration of a challenge facing coastal communities nationwide. It raises difficult questions about the risks of building in such dynamic environments and who should be responsible for the costs when things go wrong. The collapsing houses in North Carolina are a powerful, visible warning of the growing conflict between coastal development and the forces of a changing climate.